This is a 2007 Mercedes E350 and it's a little bit broken. We got this car for $800 basically from the side of the road. The lady that owned the car before, she heard some noise and she parked it and left it there to rot. But when my dad saw this car on the side of the road, he decided this is something I could fix. So he bought it and gave it to me for free. Now the condition of the car isn't that bad. Yes, it has been sitting for a long time and it's dirty and it smells quite bad, but I think this is all fixable. Now to be honest, I don't even know what the value of this vehicle is once it's all in its best condition and back on the road. But we will fix this anyway because I know this is a popular vehicle and I'm hoping you are also going to enjoy this build. This is a V6 engine with a code name M272 and it's a 3.5 V6 that develops 260 horsepower without any turbochargers, so it's a naturally aspirated engine. So that should make it easier to fix. Now let's see if this car is actually going to start. Of course the battery is dead, so we're gonna connect a jump starter to it and see if that gives us any power. Look at that, the battery has only 1 volt, so it's definitely dead. But let's see if it will start with the pack on. As you can hear, the engine is knocking, so I'm assuming this was the problem that made the previous owner give up on this car. Let's see if we can drive it out of here. So it's not just the knock, it also burns a lot of oil. As you can see, this smoke is kind of blue, so that's definitely oil. So the car drives, so that means the gearbox is fine. And I didn't see any check engine on the dash, so it's probably just the knock. As you can see, it's also damaged here a little bit, but maybe we can fix that after the engine is sorted. The wheels look okay. I like this style, but they do have some curb rash, so we're gonna have to fix those. The smoke is actually quite bad, and as you can see, it makes big clouds, and that tells me it burns oil quite badly, so it can only be valve stem seals. It has an airbag light on, but maybe there is nothing wrong, maybe just because the battery was completely dead. We will check that later. But for now, let's give it a quick wash because it's been sitting for such a long time, and in order to work on it, I really like to have it a little bit cleaner than this, and this way I get to see the condition of the paint a little bit better. Even though it has damage here and there, I also want to see the overall condition. And as you can see, it does look a little bit better, but let's take it for a drive. I don't know if how the sport button. Oh, it works. It's in sport mode now.
Ooh. All right. It feels a little sportier for sure. Oh my.
There is something knocking in the front end.
Maybe an engine mount.
Could be. I'm not getting the power I want.
Well, it is a little busted. That is. Oh God. Stop pushing it, baby.
Why, baby? It's broken anyway. I'm gonna rebuild the
I don't
thing
want to walk home. Oh, good Lord. We're gonna die. The road.
Look in the back. Look in the back.
That's well.
That's like a cloud. Look.
Oh.
A cloud of smoke.
Shadows on the trail. Okay.
It's just like in cartoons. It left a big cloud.
Just let one rip right over there. Okay.
Okay, time for fun is over, so let's jack it up and see what's wrong with it. The first thing I want to do is to remove the coils and spark plugs and put an endoscope down the cylinders and see what's what. Because these engines are known for having scored cylinders, and from the sound it makes, I'm thinking it can be a broken piston skirt. The spark plugs look a little bit oily and quite dark on one of the banks. On the other bank, they look a lot better. Some of you asked me about the endoscope I'm using, and I didn't think much about it when I ordered it, but I'm really happy I did because it's such good quality and I get to see inside of the cylinders, and this changes the whole story. And if you want one, there is a link in the description and you can go ahead and order yourself the same tool. This cylinder doesn't look very bad. It is oily and that's from the valve stem seals, but the cylinder wall doesn't look very bad to me. Oh yeah, now it doesn't look good anymore. This is some severe scoring, and I'm guessing one of the skirts is broken and it's damaging the cylinder wall. And we have the same story on the second cylinder. It is scored. I don't know how bad it is, but I'm thinking it might be just one broken skirt because the sound that it makes, it's like just one knock, not multiple knocks coming one after each other. So maybe the walls are not that bad. Maybe we just need to see if we can polish this out. I don't know. I'm just hoping at this point. The valves look like they have a lot of deposit on them, but I think that's coming from the oil leaks because it's been leaking for a long time, and as you can see, there is a puddle of oil in this cylinder. We have to remove the engine and take it all apart, and yeah, we're gonna take care of all the parts, clean it really well, and see if the engine block is actually something we can reuse or we need to find another engine block. I will say that this is something I haven't done before, especially a V6 engine from Mercedes. Never worked on one before. As you know, the only Mercedes I've worked on was the C250, and that was a 4-cylinder engine, much easier to work on. But looking at this engine, it doesn't seem, it's very difficult to work on. As you can tell on this side, there's actually nothing that connects it to the body apart from the engine mount, so that's good. You don't have many things to disconnect, just a few hoses in the front, and that part is sorted. And here we have a couple of things. We have the AC line. I don't know if that's gonna be able to stay on the car because the AC works, so I don't want to discharge the AC. I'd rather disconnect the AC compressor and leave it on the body. If I could do that, that's what I'm gonna do. And then the fuel line needs to be disconnected and some hoses in the front, and then it should be pretty easy to remove. This car is 4MATIC as well, meaning that it's 4-wheel drive, and that must mean that it has a front wheel differential, and I don't know if that needs to be disconnected and the wheels removed. I hope not, but if it does mean it needs to be disconnected, then we have to start removing the wheels, disconnecting the shafts, removing the differential, and then we can continue. But I'm hoping that I can leave all of that in, and I can only just pull the engine from up top, and this way everything stays intact on the bottom end. So we're gonna have to see. Since I have never done one of these engines, I don't even know where to start, but we'll take it easy and hopefully we can figure this out. As you can tell, there's not much to be in your way. As you can tell here in the back, you can easily reach the bell housing bolts, the top ones, which is good. On BMWs, they're way back, so it's kind of difficult to undo them, but here it looks very reachable. So it might actually be easier to remove than the BMW engine. And since it's just a V6, it's smaller, and I think we can easily remove this. But I don't want to speak too soon, so let's go ahead and try to disconnect everything that surrounds the engine, and also check it underneath and see if the differential needs to be removed or not. So let's go and do that. That will definitely pass through the engine bay, so we might be okay with leaving the subframe in. We have to do the same on the other side, and then we can disconnect the drive shaft that brings the power from the gearbox to the front differential, and maybe then we can just take care of the engine and remove the whole thing together. I wish that's the case, because it will be so much easier. That's our original belt, and it's not very old. So now this can be set aside, and I just need to disconnect that line so that I can pull it forward more, and I don't have to lose the power steering fluid. If I could do the same thing for the AC compressor, that would be perfect. The engine can be removed, and both of these things are gonna stay behind. So that's a good thing. I don't have to worry about the AC or the power steering fluid. Underneath, I've already disconnected the exhaust on both sides, and as you can see, also the drive shaft. Now it's time to disconnect the torque converter, and then we can move to the bell housing. Now it's time to take the crane out and pull this engine. Okay, so now we have the engine out, and I have to say it was new, but not very difficult. The most difficult part was to remove the bolts for the exhaust, because you have little room to do that, and on both sides, but still something manageable. I soaked the bolts with WD-40 beforehand, so it worked out. Let's set it on the engine stand and let's start taking it apart. And that's why it wouldn't come out, because look at that shaft. Yeah, and I think that's how they did it. They removed the shaft first. If I can remove the shaft, it would be so much easier to reinstall. But maybe we can. We'll get to that later. Now in here we have the knock sensors, and that is all for the wiring harness as well. And that gives us the wire harness. Strangely enough, the pulleys are all good. And it's no point in changing these pulleys because they are original, and if you get aftermarket parts, they're not gonna last as long as these ones did. So it's best to just leave them alone. They're not even spinning fast, so that must mean that it still has grease in it. This is just an idler pull, which is again very good, and the tensioner the same. Very, very quiet and very, very good. So I'm assuming they've been serviced, and or they're really that good. Yeah, that just looks ugly, but it's not. It's not bad. And I heard that this is definitely not something to worry about. I mean, people do change the block because of this, but I don't think it's necessary. And since this car is not worth that much, I don't think it's worth going for perfection here. But we'll try the best to clean it up and make sure that that's all good. Yeah, let's continue tearing this apart. The oil pan is next. Can you see that? That's why the shaft cannot stay in there, because you can't remove the last bolt of the oil pan. Okay, now the pan should come out. Yes, it does. Look at that, a rear main seal that was not leaking, completely dry. And look at that, we have the engine completely apart. And as you can probably tell, there are some scores on the cylinders, but they're not completely bad. The most damage is on the pistons. You'll get to see that in a second, but this is how I lay everything on the table with its particular bolts. This way I know exactly what part comes next and I don't forget any of them when it comes to reassembly. The crankshaft is in very good condition. All journals are completely fine, and as you can probably guess, the bearings are also very good. The main bearings are completely fine, and the connecting rod bearings are a tiny bit worn, but nothing to be worried about. This is a 150,000 miles engine and the bearings are fine. The valves have a lot of deposits, especially on this head. And to be honest, I think this could be the cause of the damage. If some of these bits broke off and ended up moving into the cylinder up and down, it could be the reason why this engine started to eat itself. So I think the lesson we have to learn from this engine is that it's not always good to be careful with revving the engine. You should sometimes rev it all the way and eliminate all of these deposits before they get the chance to become dangerous. These parts on the floor, of course, they need to be cleaned, but they are in a particular order so that I know how to put them back. The engine bay also needs a really good clean, but it's not terrible. There are some old oil leaks that we need to get rid of before the engine goes back in. Now look at this piston side skirt. It's definitely the reason why this engine was knocking, and judging by this damage, it's clear that some matter went between the piston and the cylinder wall and scraped it up like this. So the only thing it could be is the deposits from those valves. I don't think anything else could do this type of damage. And judging by the bearings, I think it was regularly maintained, but it was driven too slowly. And she was just an old lady, so maybe that's the reason why this happened. Look at this one as well. It's very, very damaged. I think it's actually the worst out of all of them. The others are kinda fine, but we will have to buy new pistons, all 6, and new piston rings. We can save the connecting rods because they are completely fine. I don't know if the block it can be saved or not. In my opinion, is not very bad, but the heads for sure need to be redone. All the valves need to come out, cleaned, and reinstalled with new valve stem seals. And after that, we can start putting everything back together. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and if you made it this far, you might as well go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.